Hi guys, my name's Louise and I'm a life coach and a heavy vehicle and plant mechanic trainer and assessor. And today's video is about healing old wounds or open wounds from previous workplaces. This is something that I'm still currently on the journey myself with a lot of things, but I'm going to refer back to one kind of wound that was really quite open and affecting me a lot and is now kind of healed. I think it's pretty close, it's almost there. I just wanted to quickly thank everyone who has been sending in messages and questions and commenting on the posts. I really appreciate all your interactions and I love chatting with you guys. I really want to serve you guys and give you guys my experiences and really add value to these videos to be able to share my experiences and teach what I have learned. I think. Open wounds from previous workplaces. So for me, I'm going to refer back to my first workplace where I did my apprenticeship. And at that workplace, I went through an ethics case. It was a sexual harassment ethics case, which had a lot of layers. They went back about 4 years worth of conversations and events in that ethics case. And it brought up a lot of deep, dark kind of memories for me of things that I was trying to forget. Also, trying to forget events isn't really a very helpful method of moving on. Sometimes it just brings them up worse later on, which is not fun. I've experienced it. It's not great. So they brought up all this stuff that I was trying to forget, which brought up for me a lot of mental health issues, a lot of self-doubt. And that time, after a few weeks, after a month or two, I was suggested to go see a counsellor. So if you do feel like you are really struggling, please go and get professional help. It is 100% worth it because, your mental health is the most important thing in any situation. All right, so my open wound from this, moving on to different workplaces, is something that kind of followed me was meetings. So if someone said they wanted to meet with me in the afternoon and it was the morning, or if they wanted to meet with me tomorrow, bam, anxiety overload. There was just nothing. I could not function. No work would be done. I'd just be like, what do they want to be? Like, oh my God, what are they going to ask me? Like, what's happening? Oh my God. It was not great. And, sometimes I still get a little bit of tension when someone says they want to meet with me and I'm like, ooh. But then I'm like, okay, cool. Like, it could be about anything, literally anything. But for me, I was always thinking the worst at that time, just because I had a lot of meetings that had ended up with me kind of curling into a ball and crying for a few hours kind of thing. So it wasn't too pleasant. So I was always thinking of those moments, those worst kind of meetings, and it was just following me, and I just couldn't, like I said, I couldn't function after someone told me that they had a meeting, and I didn't realize for a while that was kind of an open wound that I had. Like, I felt the anxiety. I was just like, oh no, I'm just anxious about meetings, that's it. And I'm like, no, why am I anxious about meetings? I wasn't anxious about meetings before. Like, I don't understand. So going back and recognizing, you know what, I'm anxious about meetings because of this situation that happened. Cool. All right, let's revisit that situation. So I went back to that situation, kind of worked through, what made me so anxious about it? Why was I reacting this way? So going back and be like, okay, this happened, that happened, this specific meeting, this happened, and that meeting, this happened. All right, cool. Like, those things are in the past now. And there was a lot of emotional baggage that I had to deal with the outcomes from those specific meetings, to kind of get then heal up. A lot of different kind of open wounds you can have is like stress related, and if you have interactions with people that aren't that pleasant, so if you've got a supervisor that does a certain thing which then leads to them being angry or something, if you see those behaviors in other people, then you can kind of just prepare for the worst kind of thing. But those people don't have those issues. They're a totally different person, a totally different workplace, totally different situation. So there's something to recognize, like when you're reacting to a situation and you're like, wait a second, why am I having this strong emotion for this situation? And you can go back and you kind of like look back at where you started remembering feeling those emotions, and kind of revisiting that and saying, is there anything I need to resolve here? Is there anything I need to forgive myself for? Because you know what, you can hold on to things and be like, that person shouldn't have treated me that way. And you know what, they probably shouldn't have. But if you've moved on and that person is out of your life, there's nothing like they can do to fix it for you. Like, they're not going to be able to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, kind of thing. They're not going to say that to you. You've moved on. So you need to kind of process that and be like, cool, that happened. I can't hold on to that anger for that person. They're, either forgiving yourself or putting yourself in that situation, or just like forgiving them, whatever kind of helps you process that, and then moving on. So then you can have a fresh start with anyone new in the workplace. Even if they are similar to other people, then you can start fresh. You're not holding on that baggage from those last experiences that you've had. I know it can be quite exhausting holding on to emotional baggage. It's not a good time, and especially going into a new job, you've got a lot of new feelings anyway, because it's a very new situation, but you want them to be new and you want them to be fresh because you are in a new workplace. You got to try not to hold on to that baggage from previous workplaces, and it can be really hard. First step is recognizing that it's there. So, like I said, if you've got, you're in a situation and you're reacting with a really strong emotion, whatever that emotion might be, and you're like, wait a second, I just met this person, I don't understand why I'm having this reaction, then trace it back and be like, cool, I know there's a situation that I need to deal with. And I really recommend doing that for your own personal growth. The person that will benefit the most from this is you. You'll be able to go in and meet different people, and you've learned the tools, learn the lessons. Okay, I was dealing with this type of person and I did this and I did not end well, so we're not going to do that again. But recognizing that and having that in your head really sets you up for the future and dealing with more people, especially if you're growing as a person, as a leader, as a teammate. Being able to work with different types of people is a skill that comes over time. Trial and test, opinions are different. Everyone has different things, but it's a time. So recognizing if you've had a poor relationship with someone in the workplace, recognize, if nothing was right about that relationship, you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that and that and that and that, and this definitely didn't work. Having that conversation with yourself, or even writing it down, having that conversation with some type of professional or a friend is super important to be able to work past that. So this stuff doesn't happen overnight, and it can be really hard to do. I would recommend to reaching out to anyone in your circle if you're struggling with any one of these processes, just to be able to talk through. Like I said, I'm always here as well. I love chatting to you guys in the messages, and please reach out. I've got a one-on-one coaching program, and I'd love to tell you about it if you're interested in working with me. Send me through your questions, comment on the post, share your experiences, whatever you overcome. Because I love seeing what you guys have done, and watching you guys grow is amazing. I love it. Okay guys, so I am going to the Brisbane Truck Show this week, and I'm really super keen on getting some photos and stuff for my AdBlue or DEF systems webinar that's happening in a few weeks. If you're something that might be interested in, please, there's a link in my bio to sign up. I would really love to see you guys along if you are interested in learning more about AdBlue and DEF systems. Until next video, guys, keep on smashing it!